factorizing a trinomial is just like reversing the process of FOIL. If you remember FOIL, if for instance you had x plus 2 and x plus 2, what we did was to multiply the firsts, and that would give you x squared, and then to multiply the outers, and that would give you plus 2x, and then to multiply the inners, and that would give you plus 2x, and to multiply the lasts, and that will give you the 4. Then if you simplify that answer, you will notice you get x squared plus 2x, plus 4x. So plus 4x plus 4. Right. Which means this trinomial x squared plus 4x plus 4 in factorized form is x plus 2 multiplied by x plus 2. So we are factorizing, and factorization of trinomials is just the reverse process of FOIL. Right. In this example, do you notice that this x squared here is actually the result of these two multiplied by each other? We are going to be reversing this, remember? And then also the 4 there, the 4 that we get there, is the result of taking this 2 there and multiplying it by the other 2 there. All right, so let's look at how we answer number 1. Let's factorize number 1. So this is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So the first thing you do, guys, draw your two sets of brackets. So draw your brackets, okay? Then use the first term. The first term is that term with the exponent of 2. So we call it the square term. So use that term, x squared. Right, x squared means x times x. So you put one x here and you put the other x there. That is the meaning of x squared. Then jump to the last term. Right, the last term is a plus 1. And we need now to look for factors. We need to look for factors of 1. Factors are two numbers here that we can multiply by each other to get 1. So two numbers that we multiply by each other to get 1, but when we add those numbers, we get a 2, right? And fortunately, the only factors of 1 are actually 1 and 1. 1 times 1 will give you 1, and 1 plus 1 will give you 2. So 1 is our factor. So we get a plus 1 in here and a plus 1 in there. Right, let's look at number 2. X squared plus 3x plus 2. Again, draw your brackets. Then use the first term, x squared. X squared means x times x. So you put x here and x there. Then you go to the last term there, which is your 2. So what are the factors of 2? We need factors of 2. Two numbers that we multiply by each other to get 2. Well, fortunately, the only two numbers that we multiply by each other to get 2 will be 1 and 2. Right. So it's 1 and 2. But if we add 1 and 2, do we get 3? We do. So 1 and 2. Right. So you will notice here that this 2 is positive. That 2 is positive. And obviously, for you to get a positive product, you must multiply either a positive number by another positive number or a negative number by another negative number. So when you see a plus here, when you see a plus there, it means the factors of 2 should carry the same sign. They should either be both positive or they should be both negative. But in this case, how do we know whether the factors of 2 should be positive or negative? we know they should be positive because we want to get a positive 3. Do you see that? We want to get a positive 3, so the factors of 2 should be both positive. That is why we take the plus 1 and the plus 2. All right? Right, let's use that for number 3. So number 3 says x squared plus 6x plus 5. So do the same thing, draw the brackets, right? Then use the first term, which is x squared. X squared means x times x, so we put x here and we put x there. Then we go to that number 5. Just take that number 5. We are looking for factors of this number 5. First of all, 5 is positive. So the two numbers that we are looking for should either be positive, both of them, or negative, right? Because when you multiply them by each other, they should give us a plus 5. So we need to decide, should the factors be both positive or should they be both negative? I know in this example they should be both positive, and the reason is because I need to get a positive. So if there's a plus sign there, it means the signs should be the same. And then the question is, which sign should we take? And the answer is we should take that sign. So both should be positive. Now give me the factors of 5. There are only 2 factors of 5, fortunately. Just 1 and 5. And both should be positive, we said. Now, do they give us 6 when we add them? They do. So we need to put a positive 1 here and a positive 5 there. Right. Let's look at number 4. Number 4, x squared plus 4, that's plus 14x plus 24. All right. Okay, so again, just draw your brackets. Then use the first term. The first term is just x squared. So x squared means x times x. So x comes here and there. Right, now we need to look at that number 24 there. The number is positive, and we are looking for 2 numbers that will be multiplied by each other to give us 24, to give us a positive 24. So clearly, because it gives us a plus 24, it means the 2 numbers should either be positive, both of them, or negative. But in this case, we know they should be positive because we need to get a plus. So the 2 factors that we are looking for should be positive. So that one should be positive and that one should be positive, and that is because we want to get a positive answer there. Right now, you need to think carefully about the 14 now. Those 2 numbers that you are looking for, when you multiply them by each other, they will give you 24. But when you add them to each other, they should give you 14. I think this is where the interesting part is, because there is a lot of thinking now. So let's think, there's so many factors of 24. I know, for instance, there is 1 and 24. 1 multiplied by 24 will give us 24. That is correct. But is 1 plus 24 going to give us 14? It won't. So 1 and 24 will not work. Maybe it's 2 and 12. All right, let's try 2 and 12. Do you think it's 2 and 12? What is 2 times 12? 2 times 12 will give you 24. That's correct. What about 2 plus 12? Is 2 plus 12 equal to 14? Yes. So fortunately, that is the right combination. So it's a plus 2 and a plus 12. So we put a plus 2 in one bracket and we put a plus 12 in the other bracket. You can check your answer by FOIL. If you FOIL, do you get x squared plus 14x plus 24? Right. Look at number 5. Number 5 says x squared plus 8x plus 15. So draw your brackets. Right, then x squared means x times x. That one is straightforward. And next you need to look at that number 15 there. Right, we are looking for 2 numbers that we multiply by each other to give us 15. But in this case, 15 is positive, which means the two numbers should carry the same sign. The two numbers should both be positive or both be negative. So are they both positive or are they both negative? I know the numbers should be both positive, and I know because I'm trying to get a plus for the middle term. So they should be positive as well. Now, which two numbers would you multiply by each other to get 15? But when you add them, you get 8. That's where you do the thinking. And so the two numbers are 3 and 5. 3 times 5 will give you 15. But 3 plus 5 will give you 8. So those are the numbers. So put your plus 3 anywhere in one of the brackets and put your plus 5 in the other bracket. Okay. Right, let's look at number 6. I think you understand this now. Number 6 says x squared plus 9x plus 20. So do the same thing, draw your brackets. First of all, use x squared. X squared means x times x, so x there and x there. Next thing, look at that number there at the end. We need two numbers that we multiply to get 20. But before you think about it, check there is a plus sign. The plus sign there is telling you that the two numbers should carry the same sign. The two numbers should be positive or both negative. But I know in this case, they should be positive because I'm trying to get a plus. All right. Then think of two numbers. You times them together, they give you 20. But you add them together, they give you 9. And those numbers should be 4 and 5. So plus 4 and plus 5. So the plus 4 anywhere there and the plus 5 anywhere there. All right. Let's look at the last one. Then you can try some questions. Number 7. This is 2x squared plus 16x plus 30. Remember, the first thing you need to do is to take out the highest common factor. So take out the highest common factor first. Can you see that 2 is common? So 2 is common there, so you remain in there with x squared plus 8x plus 15. All right. Now we need to factorize this part. We need to check that that can factorize. So we need to continue there. So our 2 out there, then we draw our 2 sets of brackets. Right, so we are going to start with x squared. X squared means x times x. So you put x here and you put another x there. Correct? Then next you go to that number 15 there. We need two numbers that will multiply each other to get 15. But remember that 15 is positive, which means the two numbers should either be both positive or both negative. But I know this one should be positive. And how do I know that this should be positive? I know because I'm trying to get a plus 8. So the numbers should be positive. And so what are the two numbers that you multiply to get 15, but you add to get 8? Those numbers should be your plus 3 and your plus 5. Plus 3 there and plus 5 there. And that is your answer.